So the inception story is one of my favorite stories to tell. Was living and working in Australia and had some free time, so was volunteering with different nonprofits that help kids in the hospital, Make-A-Wish Australia and some others. I knew I wanted to work in the philanthropic space. Flew back to Michigan, and as I landed in Michigan, I got a text message from my twin sister. She worked at Mott Children's Hospital in pediatric oncology as a nurse. She said, "Nick, when you get home and get a minute, can you make a blanket for one of my patients?" Like, I can make a blanket, but like, how many do you need? Do you need 10? Like, do you need to make more? Why do you need them?
Size?
How often do you need them? And her answers back to me were, hey, we always need blankets. They change the room, and we never have enough. I'm scratching my head that one of the best children's hospitals in the country wouldn't have enough of something one of their nurses is telling me they need. Picked up the phone that day, October 2015. I called every hospital in Michigan, and everyone gave me the same answers. Always need blankets, change the room, never have enough. Like, this is not rocket science. Let's just figure out how many kids go in the hospital, and let's make that many blankets every year. And even more than just the color and comfort, I knew from working with kids, they needed the connection. Kids go to the hospital for the first week or two, and we've probably all been guilty of it when any loved one goes in. First week or two, calls, visits, messages, they're a celebrity. And then it all drops off so fast, and we go back to our life. They're still inside that room feeling like the four walls are the whole world, and that everything outside forgot about them. So this is a way to bring the world outside back in, remind them that they still matter, that they need to continue to fight to get back to that world outside. And by making that message and sending it back outside, it's another reminder that I do still matter to that world, and I can still have an influence on that world and get through this.
Hey everyone, we are here at another Thrive Social project in Farmington Hills at Fleece and Thank You with Nich, Kristock. Thanks for having us today.
Yeah, grateful to have you here. When we go into the warehouse, you'll see two different phases happening out there. The first is production of our blanket kits, which is cutting raw materials into a rectangle shape, matching a print and a solid, folding it, rolling it, and then heat pressing a patch on it. Every blanket we deliver carries a video message from the person that made it to the patient that receives it, and that patient can then send a video message back to the blanket maker.
Wow.
And so we provide the color and the comfort, but also the connection. About 5,000 orders a year and work with about 700 groups around the country on blanket making events. And that's anything from a family of 2 at Thanksgiving to a corporation of 2,000 across the country. Like every holiday season, we've got some key corporate partners like Discover has 3,000 employees who all get shipped a blanket kit, scissors, and instructions. We jump on a massive Zoom call across the whole nation and make 3,000 blankets in 45 minutes together. Everyone gets a return label, it ships back to us, we take it through the quality control, and that all ends with hospital grade washing and drying, bring it to a germ-free state, wrap it up, and then deliver it to a patient.
Amazing, amazing.
Every week of the year, we're somewhere in the country making blankets with someone. About 80,000 people a year touch our process.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Pretty wild.
How much has that grown year over year? Is that a constant growth metric for you?
Yeah, it's definitely grown. So this year, we'll probably touch about 100 to 120,000 people in our process and deliver around 20,000 blankets for kids in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah,
love that.
Appreciate it.
Really good.
Yeah. Order a blanket kit, you don't know what you're going to get, which is also part of the fun of it. You could get flowers, you could get, football, you could get dogs. You make that blanket and then you make that video, and that video stays with that blanket through the washing and drying process. And I'll grab one here, you can kind of see an example. So we also work with a ton of awesome companies around the state and country. So Delta Dental did a huge event. They all made their Delta Dental videos. This will get washed, dried, wrapped, sealed. This code will stay with this patch forever. Stays with it through the washing and drying process, and then it gets wrapped and sealed. When the patient gets this blanket, they'll use this code to unlock that video, and then they can respond back with a video message as well.
Just incredible. How do the pandemic affect this? Just from a hands-on standpoint, from these events not being able to be as at mass?
Yeah. Two major things happened when March of 20 hit. The first was that prior to that, we were an all in-person event, nonprofit. All we did was go on site and make blankets with people. There was no e-commerce part at all.
Okay.
So we instantly made an e-commerce site that was launched by April 7th. And the week of April 15th, we got 300 orders through our e-commerce site. And it just has not stopped
That was
since
it.
then.
That skyrocketed.
So we quickly stood up that e-commerce site to be able to fulfill orders for people to make them at home. And that's now, the biggest part of our business. The second piece is the first two things to go during the pandemic were handmade goods and like hospital delivery of handmade goods to the hospital. So we acquired that hospital grade washing and drying unit and became hospital grade washing certified to say that we can deliver a germ-free blanket to the hospital. And now we're the exclusive blanket provider to almost every major health system in Michigan. They only accept Fleece and Thank You blankets that go through our process.
Incredible.
So at this station, you can see some of that hospital grade washing and drying happening. So we're doing a flip right now from the washer to the dryer, from the dryer to that gray bin. Gray bin, they'll bring it over. And just like you're seeing right here, this amazing, amazing friend do, they're gonna wrap it and seal it. That process puts a 24-hour germ-free barrier on the blanket with the chemicals that we use. And then we wrap it within that 24-hour window. So the next time a patient touches this blanket, it's guaranteed to not carry any germs from the outside world.
Amazing, so important.
Over here, we talked about the first part of that process, the kitting process. We've got, from the very first step, some matching happening. So I mentioned those outsourced cutting partners, they're cutting it into rectangles. Here we're putting those pieces together. And then folding it taco style. And then it'll go over here to our heat press machine. And this is where that patch will get pressed on it.
Got it.
And so this is something that, any volunteer that comes to help us can do any part of this process. They'll come here, they'll see what patch we're using. It might be like our New York Life patch or our Mass Mutual patch. Blanket goes on here, boom, and then this clamps down, heats, pops off, peel it off just like your favorite childhood tattoos that you used to do at the pool. And then it gets folded and rolled. One really, really great story for us is this amazing young woman named Hannah Thomas. When she was 16 years old, loved Disney, was at Disney Paris, got this really bad headache and told her mom, like, okay, something feels wrong here. They went to the hospital in France and they said, we see a tumor. They immediately got on a flight, came home, and within hours of coming back, she was getting rushed into surgery at Mott Children's Hospital to remove a tumor. When she woke up from her surgery, she had a blue polka dotted blanket laid over her. So immediately saw this blue piece of color and comfort. And after she recovered from surgery, she had a birthday coming up 3 months later. And instead of having a birthday party, she chose to spend her birthday making blankets with her friends for more future patients at Mott Children's Hospital.
Wow.
Then she said, I want my whole city to make blankets. So the Grow Zeal Community Blanket event has now happened every year since and has made thousands of blankets now over the years for kids in the hospital, all because Hannah appreciated how much the comfort was when she woke up from surgery and wanted to give that back.
Go Hannah.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
She's a rock star.
Wow. My heart is touched and we hope yours is too. What Fleece and Thank You and founder Nich are doing across this state and country is absolutely inspiring. Get involved. Whether you come to the facility by yourself and help with the blankets or organize an event with hundreds of people, you can make a difference. Check it out online or feel free to DM us and get involved in the event that Thrive will be throwing this year.